If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Game of Thrones Season 4 finale, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. Podrick and Brienne of Tarth are continuing their journey, heading to find Arya, and all of a sudden they run into her. It was, I guess, almost by chance, man, just by luck, that they were heading in the right direction, decided to go on the right path, and then they see Arya. She's out there, with her needle, kind of practicing and doing all these little crazy moves, trying to do training. And Brienne of Tarth, she walks up, Arya turns around, and they have a little conversation, and all of a sudden, the Hound walks out, and there's just tension, man. There's tension because Podrick immediately recognizes the Hound. Brienne of Tarth doesn't recognize the Hound, obviously, for obvious reasons. And then they start kind of talking and telling the story about how Arya's mother, how she promised Arya's mother that she would bring her back to safety. And the Hound's like, "You're not going anywhere with her, or you're not taking her anywhere." And then they start battling, man. And the reason why they battle is, the Hound has, how do you want to say it? He has this need and desire for antique swords. Let's say it like that. Like, they could have just sat there and talked, you know what I'm saying? But the tension was too high. And then once she pulled out the steel, the Lannister steel, the Hound got excited. And he was like, "It's been a while since I've touched Lannister steel. I'm going to need to take that trophy or whatever." And all of a sudden, they start fighting, man. Now, this was, for me, like, it wasn't like the most gruesome, Game of Thrones battle or nothing like that. It wasn't like, Prince Oberyn versus the Mountain. It wasn't anything like that. It just showed you, I think, how much strength, Brienne of Tarth actually has, man. It was like this female empowerment move that they did tonight. And the reason why I say that is because everyone knows the legend of the Hound, okay? Whether a lot of people want to admit it, I think the Hound, for me, is more popular than the Mountain. I mean, people will talk about the Mountain forever and they'll fear him, but the Hound is someone that if you sleep on, you're gonna be hurting. Like, you will die, if you go against the Hound. I mean, he's crushed people, just because they wouldn't buy him beer. You just name it. It's thousands of stories, And Brienne of Tarth, you just know that she's strong enough to go against, Jaime Lannister. She's strong enough to overpower Jaime Lannister, who's a great swordsman. She's powerful enough to withstand torture and violence and rage, man. Going against a bear. Think about this, man. There's just thousands of different things that you can use to compare the Hound and Brienne of Tarth. And tonight we got, I guess our answer. Who's the baddest mojo in the planet? Okay, if you're in the realm, you're gonna know Brienne of Tarth from now on, because Brienne of Tarth killed the Hound. She is the legendary Brienne of Tarth who killed the Hound, and it was absolutely. I thought it was going to be the end of Brienne of Tarth, because there's this moment where the Hound actually gets Brienne of Tarth on the ground. He grabs her neck and he's about to snap it when she kicks him in the balls. And then after that, he pushes her forward and then kicks her in her junk. And it literally looked like it hurt. And then after that, the Hound, he ends up falling to death. First, the Hound is punching Brienne of Tarth's face, hitting it hard, bam, bam. Then all of a sudden she does a reversal, and then she just starts loading on him. But the difference between Brienne of Tarth's, punches and the Hound's, here's the Hound's hits. His sound like this. Brienne of Tarth is like this. It's like, she's putting emphasis on those punches. She's throwing with every single amount of energy and power that she has on every single punch, man. She's throwing it. And the reason why, the justification for that is that, she kind of told us a little bit of backstory when her and Arya start talking, because she's kind of interested in wondering why Arya is in there dancing around with a needle and why she's practicing. And then she kind of tells the story about how her father, didn't believe that I was going to be this warrior or whatever, but he did teach me. you know, how to fight, because, you know, her father had this philosophy that if you're going to fight, you need to win, you know, every single time. And she kind of teaches Arya that. And all of a sudden, like, when she fought, and Arya, she's watching this the whole entire time. She's hiding, obviously, because she doesn't want to get caught. Because the Hound doesn't trust Brienne of Tarth. And since the Hound and Arya have this relationship, whether people want to, agree with it or believe it or not, there is a relationship. There's a trust, a mutual trust. Now, obviously, Arya, she wants to kill the Hound. That he's on her list. But she doesn't know Brienne of Tarth, so she's going to trust whatever the Hound says to her. And the Hound says, you know, that I don't trust you, I'm going to fight you. So, you know, Arya's not going to, you know, run into the arms of Brienne of Tarth, even though she's talking about her mother. I mean, it's kind of hard to convince Arya, too, because Brienne of Tarth is arriving to Arya with a Lannister steel. So it doesn't sound good. It just doesn't work out. Anyway, man, the last blow that Brienne of Tarth gives the Hound sends him over the edge of this cliff. And he hits his back on a rock, snaps his spine. You know, he's not dead. He's just kind of like paralyzed. Snaps his spine. He continues to roll down the hill, breaks his leg, continues to roll down here, snaps his arm, snaps his wrist, and he can't do anything. He's just laying there kind of dead. And then all of a sudden you hear Brienne of Tarth, she starts screaming, you know, Arya! 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 She's screaming at the top of her lungs, you know, to try to get her to come out from hiding, you know, it's going to be safe or whatever. You know, even Podrick's out there yelling too. She's like, you know, Brienne of Tarth asks Podrick, where did she go? He was like, she was here just a few seconds ago. I don't know where she went. And that's that. She's like, find her. And they start running off, you know, trying to find her. Arya, she looks around, sees that the coast is clear. She goes down. She walks next to the Hound. The Hound is laying there bloody. You know, broken bones, broken spine, broken back, broken legs, broken wrist. You know, he's just laying there. And then all of a sudden, he readjusts himself just a little bit. So I guess it's a little bit more comfortable. And then what he tries to do is he tries to manipulate Arya to kill him. You know, he's kind of pleading with her and begging her, you know. And he's like, kill me, kill me, kill me. You know, he starts screaming at, but she doesn't give him the satisfaction. She lets him die by that death, by the death of, and check this is what's beautiful about it. It's not by the death of someone that really wants to kill her. It's just the death of Brienne Tarth, man. Brienne of Tarth killed the Hound. That's how he'll die. He'll die at the hands of a woman also, but it's of Brienne of Tarth, man. You know, an actual, I guess you could say, warrior or whatever. One thing to notice, man, is like they let the Hound go out with honor. And there's this moment before Brienne of Tarth has the Hound kind of, you know, the upper hand on the Hound, and she pulls out her Lannister steel, she puts it up to his neck, she's about to stab him, and then she says, you know, kind of like surrender or whatever, you know, I'm not here to fight you. Well, he doesn't want to die that way, you know what I'm saying? So he grabs the Lannister steel with his bare hands, squeezes it, and it cuts into his hands. And he resists, he pushes it back and knocks her still out, the Lannister still, then punches her, and then it, you know, continues on. But it kind of shows you how powerful and strong, man, and how stubborn, you know, the Hound is, his character. And I just really loved how they did that. You know, she, as an Arya, she was able to knock a person off her list, but she didn't have to kill him. She, you know, she's growing, she's learning, she's becoming, you know, a good character, man, like a great character. And I always said that's one of my favorite characters too. And I just can't believe the Hound is gone though. But it kind of shows you that she's ready. She's ready to move on without the Hound, because she could have, you know, picked the Hound up, took him to safety, and she didn't have to let him die, you know, but she did. She just let him die, man, and she didn't have to kill him. You know, she chose not to. She could have, but she chose not to. So, after that, you know, Arya, she heads over to this, shipway, lumberyard, whatever you want to call it, a little place where they release the boats at. And then she's heading to the city of Bravos, man. She gives him the Viva Morgulus coin, and then after that, she's heading off to her adventure, man. Anyway, guys, that's it, man. That was way too long. It was almost 10 minutes. We're at her.